Right. This is MLG. Good morning. Um, this is a video. Sorry if I'm not talking loud, if I'm a little low, it's because I'm in my office. I don't wanna wake up everybody. But the topic of this video is I don't wanna wake up anybody. The topic of this video is this is an answer to a great question from Null Inquisitor. It's gonna be a long video. It's gonna be a complicated one as well because it's not easy to discuss. So I'm gonna do my best here. Null Inquisitor and I had a discussion over the chat messenger, and he asked me a question that has multiple layers, and I took a couple days to think about it, and I'm through it. So I'm gonna go with it. I was talking with him about the fact that my Burning Wheel game reached a point where it's super fluid, in the sense of the group we have reached some kind of a sweet spot where we don't really need to prep. We show up, we know what we're gonna do, we know exactly what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen in details, but we know where we're going with this, and there's no bugging over whatever. I don't need to prep. I just sit and the things just run itself. And I was explaining that I believe that we reached that automatic pilot zone in our gaming with this group because we played so much and so often. Sometimes we played 3 times a week, so really often and really regular. So it's like it's just a really well oiled mechanic. It's just, when you play that much, you reach a level where you don't even have to prep that anymore because the story just unfolds itself into the gaming kind of thing. And it reminded him of a vampire game using GURPS he had when he was young, when he used to play 3 times a week. When he had a group with which he it reminded him of back in the days when he and his group were playing 3 times a week GURPS vampire game. And it was super fluid, and he felt like we had the same experience. He felt like my Burning Wheel game and his vampire game shared some similarities on the level of, and for the reason of, by playing it so much and so often, you reach a level where the game becomes like a part of yourself. You don't even need the book that much anymore. You don't need to prep that much anymore. You just show up and you just play, and it's just fun, and you are on that sweet spot. And he was kind of like surprised by the fact that 2 different games like Burning Wheel and GURPS Vampire could be really similar in experience. And he kind of asked the question, and this is his question, is, can it be possible that Burning Wheel, GURPS, Vampire, no matter what the game you play, it doesn't really depend on the mechanic and the design. By the end of the day, when you play it a lot, you can reach that level, and it's pretty much the same no matter what the game you play. The experience becomes that. It's like it's another experience. It's when you reach that sweet spot, that place where it's just a part of yourself, and of the group, and it's just like an emergent properties kind of thing. And he also asked in the question. The question has many layers. So he also asked in the question, because I talked in my Burning Wheel Flaw video about emergent mechanics, emergent properties that unfold by playing the game for a long time, that you cannot see if you don't play it for, and I call that not a flaw, but I call that something that is just sad, because a lot of people will never get to see those things, because the game demands, the game needs necessary a big amount of hours of gameplay to unfold some stuff. But I think that the issue between him and I is because I expressed myself, I didn't use the right word, I said emergent properties. And so he said to me, well, I had the same experience as you with my GURPS vampire game. So I feel like it's not Burning Wheel that does that. He said that he thinks that every game has something to unfold in the long run, something to emerge from it in the long run. And the problem is that what I wanted to say is not emergent properties, because I do believe that emergent properties is something that lots of game has, that can unfold later on, like emergent behaviors and stuff like that. What I was talking about is emergent mechanics and emergent design, which is not behavior, and it's not necessarily like properties per se of kind of experience that shows up later. So that's the thing that I think is like an issue for this discussion, because I think we misunderstood each other at this point, just because I expressed poorly what I wanted to say. Now, if I would say that I agree with you that every game has stuff that's gonna unfold later on, like emergent properties that is gonna show itself after a long time you play it. Yeah, I do think all games has that. I do think. I do believe as well that we reach the same kind of level of gaming where you play a lot and it becomes, and I do think that every game can have that. So I pretty much agree with everything you mentioned. But I also asked you to give me example of emergent mechanics that GURPS has that shows up after a long time, and you didn't give me the answer. So I guess if I ask you here in this video, give me examples of mechanics and design choices that the developer created for GURPS that can only be played after hours and hours of gaming with the system. Not because they don't show up story-wise, not because they don't show up in the narrative choices, because the design is deep in a way that doesn't allow you to play those features early on. So you gotta play a long time to be able to play those mechanics and design. Because that's what I meant with Burning Wheel. What I meant is that I think one of the, not a flaw, but not it's just, I think the flaw I was expressing is that because a lot of people are not gonna invest that much hour, they're never gonna see that. So that's what I was expressing, and that's what I was trying to say. So I guess that's probably why the answer for your question might be not exactly what you might expected. Of course, Burning Wheel is like any other game, and of course it's gonna have emergent properties like any other game. And emergent behaviors and emergent properties, they can show up after 30 years just because you change and everything. I was really talking about mechanics, so I think just for that, it loses a lot of relevancy. It's not relevant as much in terms of a question, because I think I would just poorly express myself. On another note, though, yes, I think that it's possible with two different games, two different design, to reach a similar experience. And that's a good question. I think that is the most interesting part of that question. He asked me, the Inquisitor. It's the fact that by playing it enough, by playing it a long time, you can take Pathfinder, you can take Burning Wheel, you can take GURPS, whatever game you take, you're gonna reach that sweet spot. What is the nature of this sweet spot? That's another question. Maybe I'm gonna throw at you, Null Inquisitor, just to change the topic. What is the nature of that sweet spot? Is there a way to play that allows gamers to reach it more often, more easily? Because it looks like you and I reached that spot by playing many hours, which is, it's hard when you get older, So, and I don't think I will play that often again, like 3 hours at 3 sessions a week. Sometimes that's like 12 hours of gaming by a week. It's in the same setting, campaign system. And it took like 9 months to reach that sweet spot that we have right now, where we don't even have to open the book anymore. We know everything. It's super fluid. We are an extension of the game. So yeah, that's my answer to you, and that's the new question I will ask for everybody in the brigade. If you know what we are talking about here, that sweet spot you reach by playing a long time, where it's super fluid, you don't need to prep anymore. It's just everybody knows where we're going with this session and this game and this campaign. What makes this happen with every system? How that happened? What's your point on this? And have you ever reached it? How was it? And so for me, my answer is that I think that only time can reach that, because it's getting used to it. And so it takes a lot of practice in getting used to the system. And also, I think that's what it is to play by interacting freely and creatively with something. I think that's the definition of playing. So, all right, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.